I love it so much. Oh my God, it's just, yes, this is the one I was dreaming of. Oh my God. It's so pretty. And look at the sleeves. The sleeves at the bottom are stretchy.
Welcome to the Native Informant Podcast.
Thank you so much.
Please introduce the audience. Who is Abbey and where does she come from and her backstory?
My name is Abbey Hafez and I am actually from USA. I lived there for most of my life, around 22 years in USA. So I have a bit of a background there. I come from a very, very small town in Michigan. It was a bit sheltered there. I was a Christian for around 25 years. So living in this small town, mostly everyone there is Christian. I didn't meet any Muslims. But when I moved to Dubai, I actually followed my husband here. So our love story brought me to Dubai. And oh my gosh, I was just amazed to see the difference in the culture. And also I met so many amazing Muslims that it just opened my eyes to Islam for the first time. And I started to really learn the truth about Islam and how peaceful and loving it was. And it's just been incredible.
And for those of you who don't know, you are a new revert to Islam. And do you want to tell the audience on how you came to revert to the faith of Islam?
Sure. I was a little bit interested in Islam through my husband since he is a born Muslim, but I never really found it for me until I started learning about Palestine. And I started seeing, obviously, the destruction and all of the heartbreak there. And I saw these Muslims living in Palestine and they lost everything. They lost their homes, their family, their future, everything. They lost it. And they were thanking God amidst all that. And I said, how can someone have that strong of a faith? I saw a video of a woman. She's holding her child and her child had passed away. She was thanking God at that moment. And she's saying Allahu Akbar. And she's saying in Arabic, from you we came and to you we will return. And just thanking God so much in that moment. And I said, I don't think I could do that. I don't think my faith is strong enough that I could thank God at that moment. I said, how is her faith so strong? That's what really inspired me to read the Quran, because especially as a mother, to be holding my child in my arms and thanking God, because even though my child is gone, I don't know. I don't think I could do that at that moment. Incredible how much the Palestinian people, the Palestinian Muslims have inspired the world. I said, I need to read this book they're talking about, the Quran. I need to read this and see what is it that they believe in to be this steadfast in their faith. I just opened it out of curiosity as a Christian of 25 years, and literally the first sentence, I was just blown away. I felt like it was speaking directly to me. I felt like God sent this book, like God was speaking to me through the words. It was just incredible.
And since that you've been living in a Muslim country, how has your perception of Muslims in general changed?
Oh my gosh, it's been a game changer, honestly. Living in Marquette, Michigan, it's a very small town. Most people don't leave this town like their whole life. They stay there, raise their family there, so it's a very closed community. Getting out of this area and moving to Dubai, from a very small town to a big city, it's already going to be much more culture and diversity. Every time I would hear the adhan, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, I'm like, what is this sound? Like, it was so interesting to see how immersed most people were in the Muslim faith here. I would see so many people wearing the hijab, the abaya, people going to pray. The mosques would be full of people. It's like so amazing to see so many people dedicated to God.
How has your family felt about your reversion to Islam? Maybe you have siblings or your parents. How have they felt?
Actually, I called my mom after I reverted because I didn't want anyone's opinion to sway my faith. Deep in my heart, I knew what was true for me. So I called my mom and I told her, and she said, "Oh, wow, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you that you found your own path." And I told my sister also, and she was like, "Wow, really?" And then she said, "That must be cool that you and your husband share the same faith now." So it's really just so supportive.
You mentioned in one of your videos, which I found fascinating, is you felt that you potentially took your shahada before you actually became Muslim. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Yeah, I didn't cry when I actually took my shahada, and people were asking me why. I realized that I might have taken my shahada maybe a few days before that. I was kind of pulled through this process by God. I really feel that. I was pulled from my soul to read the Qur'an. Then I was pulled to try the way that Muslims pray. They said, "Oh, you just try it. There's no harm in trying it." I did the wudu and I followed the app on how to pray as Muslims pray. And I was just amazed by how I felt after praying. I finished the prayer. I called it a practice prayer. I finished the prayer and I just like fell down and I was bawling. I couldn't hold the tears back. Just like an incredible flood of emotions. I wouldn't say it was negative. No, it was like I was letting go of 25 years of anything on my shoulders. I just felt so free. I felt so free. And I said at that moment, I need to be Muslim. I really need to take my shahada. And I told my husband right then, "Please take me to the mosque right now. I need to be Muslim."
Was there a specific verse that you read in the Quran that really made you feel like this is speaking to me? This is the one.
Honestly, I feel like it was every sentence was just consistently answering my questions. By the second surah of the Quran, I said, this is really resonating with me. So I think it was just every sentence answering a question, answering a question.
Those who are potentially listening who do not know about Islam as a religion and also do not know how one could result in reading the Quran and then going in through a reversion story, what would you say to them? And since you were there literally a week ago, how would you describe that to them?
I would say just be curious. Just always be curious. For me, I'm never afraid to learn. People were telling me to stop reading the Quran and you need to just focus on your faith as a Christian. And to me, I don't want to walk by blind faith. For me, I think that faith should be tested and we should be able to look at other religions and not just put our blinders on and pretend like there's no other religions in the world, right? It should stand the test of time, right? So we should be able to compare it with other religions and still have it be your truth. So I will say just be curious. Don't be afraid of what other people are going to think or say, because in the end, all that matters is what you feel in your heart to be true.
The fact that you went in from Christianity and transitioned into Islam, what were the things that you perhaps didn't align yourself completely with Christianity that helped navigate your journey towards Islam?
Actually, as a Christian, the deeper I got into my faith, the more questions I had. And I started to be a bit more confused as I was going along. I was going to Bible studies and going to church every Sunday. And I'm not saying that's what makes you religious. But as I went along, I started to have a lot of questions that were unanswered. Actually, the Quran started answering those questions for me, like questions about who is Jesus and is Jesus really God? And these kind of questions, I always had them on my mind. And also another question I had was, are Christians the only people that will get into heaven? And the Quran started answering those questions for me. And one thing that always confused me as a Christian was, like, how can Jesus, peace be upon him, be God if he doesn't know what's going to happen to him on the crucifixion day? I was reading the Bible and it said that he was sweating blood because he was so nervous about what's going to happen. So I'm thinking to myself, if Jesus was God, then how is he nervous about what's going to happen? And from the other side, how can God die? And from the other side, I'm thinking, if we put God into a human time frame, which has a beginning and an end, then God would have a beginning and an end. But God is infinite. To me, it feels that we're somehow limiting God.
What is your favorite thing that you have learnt about being Muslim?
I'll just say that I love the Salah. I love the Salah so much. I never had like a way to connect to God on such a personal level. I talked to God, but I never worshipped God. So there is a difference. You really feel so connected. And also, like, your day has more purpose to it because every day the creator of the universe is calling you to meet with him 5 times a day. How incredible.